In the yesterday's class, ಸಂತೋಷ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಮ್ವರ್ಕ್ ಬರೀತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರಲ್ಲ. In yesterday's class, we started with chapter number 8, dividend, declaration of dividend. There are some other sections of chapter 7 also, which we completed yesterday. Do revise it, that are small sections only. When it comes to dividend, chapter number 8, it is dealt from section number 123 to 127. What is 123? It is declaration of dividend. 124, unpaid dividend account. 125, IAPF, Investor Education Protection Fund. 126, right to dividend in case of where the shares are kept in abeyance. Sir, what do you mean by abeyance? We will see. 127, punishment for not complying with the sections. So in case of 123, we started discussing dividend is a distribution of profits. Dividend is a distribution of profits in which it is given in return for the usage of money from the shareholders. If they give return by way of interest, sorry, if they give return for debenture holders or deposit holders, we call it as interest. If they give it for shares, whether it is preference or equity, we call it as dividend. When I say dividend, dividend has been categorized into two things, two types. One is interim dividend, second one is final dividend. Interim dividend is a dividend which is declared and paid by board of directors itself, where there is no need of approval of the shareholders. And interim dividend is paid between two AGMs. After a single quarter, after a double quarter, maybe after one half of the financial year. Whenever the company makes some exceptional profits or extra profits, then company's board of directors may decide to declare and pay it. And when it comes to final dividend, it is a dividend which is declared by the board of directors and it is approved by shareholders in the annual general meeting. So that dividend which is declared in the AGM, we call it as final dividend or annual dividend. Any dividend declared in AGM, always in AGM. If it is other than AGM, it is interim dividend. So whenever the company wants to declare the final dividend, they will propose a rate to the shareholders for the purpose of approval. Shareholders has two options: either they can accept that rate or they can reduce that rate or they can cancel it also. But they have no option to increase that rate. For example, board of directors proposes 15%, but they cannot take it for 20%. More than 50%, 15% not possible. That is one restriction which is available. And when the company declares a dividend, when I say company board of directors and it is approved by shareholders. Okay, when I say shareholders, it is equity shareholders itself. Preference shares only equity shareholders approval. The dividend, if it is approved by the equity shareholders, the amount should be kept in a separate bank account, scheduled bank specifically, within 5 days of declaration of dividend. Within 5 days of declaration of dividend, that has been kept in separate account. Once it is declared, that dividend should be paid to all the registered holders within 30 days of declaration. Even after 30 days, if nobody comes and claims that dividend, or the company is unable to pay the dividend because of maybe some banking details error, or maybe the registered owner is missing, or because of some reason, the company should transfer all the unpaid dividend after 30 days to unpaid dividend account. To an unpaid dividend account, which is a separate account maintained in scheduled bank by the company. And that transfer, for example, 30 days is over. By what time they have to transfer to unpaid dividend account is within 7 days they have to transfer. And when they transfer, they have to keep it for 7 years. And after 7 years also, if they don't claim it, then company has to transfer it to IAPF account, Investor Education Protection Fund account. And if the company is not paying the dividend, it is because of the two reasons. One is because of the mistake of the shareholder. Because of the mistake of the shareholder. ನಾನು ಸರಿಯಾಗಿ ಆಗಲ್ಲ, ನೀನೇ ಕಡೆ ಸರಿಬೇಕು. ಕ್ಯಾಮರಾ ಹಾಕತ್ತಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ನಾ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಇರೋ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು? ಹಿಂಗೆ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು. ಕ್ಯಾಮರಾ ಕಡೆ ಸರ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಡಿಸ್ಪ್ಲೇ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಓಕೆ, ಏನು ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ವಿ? Unpaid dividend, okay. If the dividend is not paid, dividend may not be paid for two reasons. One is on the mistake of shareholders or on the mistake of company. If it is because of the mistake of shareholder, because they have given the wrong address, because they have given the wrong bank details, they are not available for the purpose of payment of that, then company is not liable for any punishment, any contravention, any penalty. But if the company does not pay, maybe they missed two shareholders for which they have to pay the dividend. If it is on behalf of the company, for example, they have to pay within 30 days. They did not pay all the dividend within 30 days. They took the 35 days, 40 days. Or after non-payment, they have to transfer it to unpaid dividend account within 7 days, or after that 7 years IPF account. If there is any confirmation of this type, then company is liable to pay interest of 12%. I am not talking about the penalty. If they delay it for 15 days, 15 days in the 12% per annum interest ಪ್ರಕಾರ calculation ಮಾಡಿ payment ಮಾಡಲೇಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. Is it okay? This is the thing which we discussed. And for the purpose of payment of dividend, the sources can be either current year profit, we can use it, or we can use the past year profit, or in case of final dividend, we may pay out of the money guaranteed by the government, either the state government or central government. And before paying the dividend, company has to charge the depreciation compulsorily as per the schedule 2. Without depreciation, you cannot pay the dividend. And there is one more thing. What is that? If there are any losses which are brought forward from the last year, then those losses also should be first set off. Then only if there is any amount left, then we have to pay to the equity shareholders by way of dividend. Before payment of equity shareholders by way of dividend, first we have to pay the dividend of preference shares, if there are any preference shares. If it is cumulative preference shares, whenever you declare and pay, if it is not paid earlier, in the earlier years, you have to accumulate it. Whatever the arrears are there, you have to accumulate and pay it in full. But in case of non-cumulative preference shares, only in the year of declaration they can pay how much ever they decided at the beginning, 10%, 20%, 30% preference share, that has to be paid by the company.
But company paid the dividend within 30 days, 12% interest, 18% interest.
18%, right? We'll see. I'll check. ಮುಂದೋದ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತದೆ. What are we discussing? ರಿವಿಷನ್ ಮಾಡಕತ್ತ ಏನ್ ತಪ್ಪಿದ್ರು ಏನ್ ಸರಿದ್ರು ನೋ ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ರಿವಿಷನ್ ನೀವು ಟೆಲ್ ಮಿ. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಫ್ಲೋ ಕೊಟ್ಟಾರೆ ಎರಡನೇ ಸಲ ಫ್ಲೋ ಕೊಟ್ಟಾಗದೈತೆ. ನಂಗೇನು ಡಿಫ್ರೆನ್ಸ್ ಆಗಂಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ನಾನು ಮಾಡಿ ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಡ್ತೇನೆ. ನಿಮಗೆ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮಿಗೆ ಒಂದು ಫ್ಲೋ ಇರ್ಬೇಕು. ಯಾವಾಗ ಏನ್ ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ sources of dividend. Okay. Cumulative, non-cumulative preference. Okay, I lost somewhere. Okay. One more thing is, when the company was in the losses, when the company in the profit, they can declare any percentage of dividend, but when the company is in the loss, they cannot declare the dividend beyond annual 3 years annual average profit. Average profits of past 3 years, 3 immediately preceding years. In case of 23, 22, 21, 20, ಅದು average ತಗೋಬೇಕು, ಅದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಡಿಕ್ಲೇರ್ ಮಾಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ. In case of interim also same, in case of final also same. Interim we have seen yesterday, final we will see it today. And are there anything which we left for the purpose of revision? One thing, for the purpose of payment of dividend, when I say profits, the reserves which are available freely, that can only be utilized. The specific reserves, the capital reserves, the notional reserves cannot be touched for the purpose of declaration of dividend. Sir, what is notional reserves? Yesterday I have given example. I bought this for 5 lakh. Now today it can be sold for 1 crore. That 95 lakh, it is still there in my mind. If I sell only, that is an actual gain. If I don't sell it, if I just keep on thinking, okay, ಅವಾಗ 5 ಲಕ್ಷ ಖರೀದಿ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ, 1 ಕೋಟಿ ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಇದೆ, 95 ಲಕ್ಷ ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಇದೆ. ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಅನ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಕತ್ತೀನಿ. ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಯಾವಾಗ ಬರ್ತೈತಿ? ಸೆಲ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಬರ್ತೈತೆ. If you think by yourself, if you assume it, we call it as a notional gain. What is specific reserves? The reserves which are kept for a specific purpose: debenture redemption reserve, deposit redemption reserve, or maybe depreciation reserve, sinking fund reserve, any reserve. And capital reserve. You cannot utilize even capital reserves also. What is capital reserve? For example, you have issued shares at a premium. That is a capital reserve. Or you have issued shares at a discount. That is also capital reserve. Sir, can we issue shares at a discount? Two cases. Bank reconstruction loan to that thing. One is sweat equity shares. Two things are allowed. Again coming. Okay, Mahesh, ನೀನು ಹೇಳಕತ್ತಿದ್ದೆ 18%. ಓಕೆ, ಇಲ್ಲ ಕಾಣಕತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. ಅದು ಯಾವಾಗ ಬರ್ತದೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತಿತ್ತು. 18 or 12. That's okay. This is what we discussed in the yesterday's class. Then comes, we have already discussed this point, but we have discussed this for interim dividend. Whenever company has some inadequacy of profits, or company does not have any profits, only absence of profits, that is losses. When the company does not have the profit, that is losses, our company has insufficient profits for the purpose of declaration of dividend. In that case, what it can do? We know that it cannot declare a dividend beyond average rate of preceding 3 years. But even after payment of the average dividend for preceding 3 years, you have to comply with the remaining 3 conditions. Not more than average dividend ಕೊಟ್ಟಾಗಲೂ 3 conditions compulsory satisfy ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. What are those 3 conditions? Okay, this is not actually condition. This is a point which we already discussed. Before declaration of dividend, you should first utilize the profit or any amount drawn for the purpose of set-off of losses incurred in the financial year in which dividend declared current year losses, and if there is any amount left, then you can utilize that for payment of dividend. It is not a condition actually. The condition is, first one is, the rate of dividend declared shall not exceed the average rate at which the dividend was declared by the company in the immediately preceding 3 years. It cannot exceed this much amount. After which, these 2 conditions are important. You should remember. We know this condition already. The total amount to be drawn from such accumulated profits shall not exceed 10% of paid up share capital and free reserves as appearing in the latest audited financial statements. We will read the condition, then we will explain it. What is the third condition? The balance of reserves after such withdrawal shall not fall below 15% of its paid up share capital as appearing in the latest audited financial statement. Sir, what are we discussing? Declaration of dividend when there is inadequacy or absence of profits. In the current year, we have not made the profit, or in the current year, we have incurred the loss, or our profits is not sufficient for the purpose of declaration of dividend. Then, what is the other source? We can take it from the past year profit. What is past year profit? Can I call it as reserves and surplus? Regarding reserves and surplus, there are 3 conditions. You cannot pay more than the average profits of the immediately 3 preceding years. Then you cannot pay 10%. After payment of this 10%, okay, what is the 10%? We will see. You cannot pay more than 10%. And after payment of this 10%, it should not be less than 15%. You remember this way. You should not pay more than 10%. And after payment of that percentage, whatever the amount left, that should not be less than 15%. Sir, what is that 10%? What is that 15%? See it again. We will take a number and discuss. First, let me draw the balance sheet. On balance sheet, our account. in which there is equity share capital of 15 lakh, reserves and surplus, P&L 20 lakh, 20 lakh, 8 lakh, and general reserve is 13 lakh. This is a balance sheet available. In the current year, we did not make sufficient profits, or consider we have incurred losses in the current year. But we want to pay the dividend. Can we pay the dividend? Yes, we can pay the dividend, but we have to satisfy certain conditions. Sir, what are those conditions? First condition is you cannot declare the dividend in excess of the average rate of dividend which is declared in the preceding 3 years. That you can calculate totally divided by 3, that is average percentage, or again calculation law. The second condition is you cannot pay dividend, exceeding, you cannot pay dividend amount exceeding the total amount drawn, the total amount to be drawn from such accumulated profits shall not exceed 10% of its paid up share capital and free reserves appearing in the latest audited financial statements. So what is this? Our financial statements is showing paid up capital of 15 lakh, free reserves of how much? 13 plus 8, 21, 25. Yeah? This is 21 plus 15. Totally 36 is my total amount, out of which I cannot draw more than 10% of this. What is more than 10% of this condition? 36 into 10 or 15? 10%. That is 3.6 lakh. It simply says whenever you pay dividend, when you are in the losses, you cannot pay as per this data more than 3.6 lakh rupees of dividend. This is second condition. After payment of this 3.6 lakh, we should be left with at least 15% of something. What is that something? You see it now. The balance of reserves after, that is what is reserves? It is free reserves only. Such withdrawal shall not fall below 15% of its paid up share capital as appearing in the latest audited financial statements. Once you draw this 3.6 lakh rupees, whatever the amount there here, it should not be less than 15% of what? 15 lakh. What is that? What is 15% of 15 lakh? 15 lakh into 15%, 2.25 lakh. The moment you withdraw 3.6 lakh, at least in your reserves and surplus and P&L, you should have a balance of 2.25 lakh, minimum 2.25 lakh. So definitely in this case it is 13 plus 8, 21, out of which we are taking 3.6. Definitely it is more than 2.25 thing. There is no problem in this. So where this condition apply? I'll take a master example. What is master example? Which consists of everything. In the year 2020, we have paid a dividend of 30%. In 21, we paid a dividend of 45%. Be ready with the calculator. Again in 22, we paid a dividend of some 50%. And there is a balance sheet. Equity share capital. If you want to note it down anywhere, you can note it down. Example on calculation of dividend. Equity share capital is 50 lakh. I'll directly take free reserves. Free reserves totally 7 lakh. Totally 7 lakh. Now there are 4 conditions to be satisfied. What are those 4 conditions? Whenever you are touching the previous year profits, if there is any losses in the current year, you first apply the previous year profit to current year loss. If there is any amount left, then you can utilize for that other thing. That is common condition. The main considerable conditions are 3 conditions. First condition is what? It should not exceed the average dividend of preceding 3 years. We are in 2023 now. 2023. It is financial year. It is 19, 20, 20, 21, 21, 22, and it is 22 and 23 financial years. Now, first condition says you cannot declare a dividend which is in excess of average of 3 years. What is the average of these 3 years? You did 30 plus 45 plus 50 divided by 3 is equal to 41.6. Okay, we can consider it as 7 percentage, or can we make it as 42 percentage for simplicity? 42%. I cannot pay dividend more than 42% in the current year. What is 42%? 42% of the equity share capital. What is 42% of the equity share capital? Tell me. This is 50 lakh rupees, I think. 20. This is 42%, right? This is 42%. Is equal to 21 lakh. I cannot pay more than 21 lakh in the current year. This is the first condition. Second condition is I cannot pay more than 10% of paid up capital plus free reserves. What is paid up capital and free reserves? It is 57 into 10% means 5.7 lakh. 50 plus 7 into 10% is equal to 5.7 lakh. Even though I am eligible to pay 21 lakh rupees of dividend, but because of the insufficiency of the last year profits also, that means our reserves is not more sufficient, because of which I cannot pay 21 lakh. I should pay maximum of 5.7 lakh. As per considering only 2 conditions, we have to go for third condition. What is the third condition? After payment of this 5.7 lakh, the amount in the free reserves should not be less than 15% of the paid up share capital. What is 15% of the paid up share capital? 50 into 15 percentage. 7.5 lakh. That means 7.5. Yeah? Then example. Okay, we will change the example little bit. We will make it as, instead of 7 lakh, we will make it as 10 lakh. Now tell me, you calculate and tell me, this number also will change now. Is 10 means 6 lakh I can pay. Then here it is 50 into 15% equal to 7.5 lakh. As per the average profit, I can pay maximum 21 lakh dividend. But I have to comply with all the conditions cumulatively. Then I am checking with these 2 conditions. Even though I am eligible to pay 21, but I don't have so much money to pay. I can pay maximum 6 lakh. But after payment of 6 lakh, my free reserves should be at least 7.5 lakh rupees. At least 7.5 lakh rupees. That means if I pay 6 lakh out of this, how much it will be left? 4 lakh. That is non-compliance of this section again. I cannot pay 7.6 lakh also. So then how much I can pay? You check here, which is more restrictive. Third condition is very restrictive. If you see here 21 payment ಹೇಳಕತ್ತೈತೆ 6 payment ಮಾಡು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಕತ್ತೈತೆ ಬಟ್ ನೀ ಎಷ್ಟಾದ್ರೂ ಪೇಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋ ಅಟ್ ಲೀಸ್ಟ್ 7.5 ಇರ್ಬೇಕಂತ ಹೇಳಕತ್ತೈತಿ ಥರ್ಡ್ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ ನನ್ನ ಕಡೆ ನಾನು 10 ಐತಿ you keep 7.5 pending balance then what is the amount left now you even though your eligible pay to pay 21 6 lakh it doesn't matter you can pay maximum of 2.5 lakh rupees of dividend when there is loss in the current year when there is insufficiency of the profits in the current year. For example, current year it has a loss of, for example, 80,000 rupees. Current year ಒಳಗಡೆ profit ಅಲ್ಲ loss 80,000 rupees ಐತೆ. Now can I pay this 2.5 lakh rupees dividend? Yes, I can pay 2.5 lakh rupees of dividend, but before payment of the dividend, I have to settle the loss minus I should do 0.8. What is the left? 1.7. It is the maximum amount which is available for payment of dividend. I cannot pay more than 1.7 lakh. Understood the conditions? ಯಾರಿಗೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ ಹೇಳ್ರಿ anybody not understood? Third condition. First condition ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗೈತಿ you can pay maximum of 3 average of 3 years last 3 years. This is you can pay maximum of 10% of these two things equity share capital and free reserves. After payment of 10% of this, that is 6 lakh rupees, whatever the amount which is there in the balance sheet, free reserves, general reserves and P&L, in balance ಐತಲ್ಲ ಆ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಅಟ್ ಲೀಸ್ಟ್ ಇದ್ರದ್ದು 10% ಉಳಿಬೇಕು ನನ್ನ ಕಡೆ ಅದ್ರದ್ದು 10% ಎಷ್ಟು ಸಾರಿ 10 ಅಲ್ಲ 15% ಉಳಿಬೇಕು 15% ರೈಟ್ ಐತಲ್ಲ ನಂಬರ್ 15% right number wrong number okay 15% is right. So 50 lakh into 15% is 7.5 lakh ಉಳಿಬೇಕು ನನ್ನ ಕಡೆ ಟೋಟಲಿ 10 lakh ಐತೆ 7.5 lakh ಉಳಿಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ಟೋಟಲಿ ನಾನು 2.5 lakh ಅಷ್ಟೇ ತಗೊಳಕ್ ಆಗ್ತೈತಿ. That means even though I can pay 6 lakh 21 lakh I don't have so much general reserves also for the purpose of payment because of which I can pay maximum of 2.5 lakh. Even in case of 2.5 also if there is any current year loss first I have to set it off then I can utilize for the purpose of dividend remaining amount. Is that okay? I am again reading that conditions. This you have to check first. The rate of dividend declared shall not exceed the average rates at which a dividend was declared by the company in the immediately preceding 3 years. After which you come here, the company so drawn shall first be utilized. The amount so drawn first shall be utilized to set off of losses incurred in the financial year in which a dividend is declared, and only thereafter any dividend in respect of equity shares shall be declared. First set off of the loss, then go for dividend. Then comes the total amount to be drawn from such accumulated profits shall not exceed. If you see here, everywhere it is shall under battery alla shall be declared, shall be utilized. Then after shall not be fall below. Everything is mandatory conditions. Compulsory comply ಆಗಬೇಕು ಮೇ ಇಲ್ಲ because January. Any dividend in respect of okay should not exceed 10% of the paid up share capital and free reserves as appearing in the latest audited financial statements, and after 10% the balance of free reserves after such withdrawal shall not fall below 15% of the paid up share capital. For 15% calculation don't take free reserves, it is only paid up capital, but for 10% calculation it is paid up capital plus free reserves as appearing in the labs latest audited balance sheet. Is that okay? 4 conditions. Exam the question ಬರ್ತೈತೆ. This is important, very very important.
So fourth condition.
Yes sir. 15% of paid up share capital. Okay. Free reserves ಐತೆ. Okay. I don't have current year profit. I am taking from the last year free reserves. How much I can take? That is what these 4 conditions. I cannot take more than 10% of the paid up capital and free reserves, and after I take the 10%, any amount which is left should not be less than 15% of only paid up capital. Free reserves illa, only paid up capital. And there is an exception for what? For government company. Entire paid of equity share capital held by central government, state government, or central and state government. It is simply government company. Government company ಇಷ್ಟೆಲ್ಲ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ ಅಪ್ಲಿಕಬಲ್ ಆಗಂಗಿಲ್ಲ. For which they have given some theory. What is the theory? What is free reserves? What is not free reserves? Yesterday we have already discussed these things. What is free reserves? What is not free reserves? That is one condition, one point. Then this is also already discussed. Whenever you declare a dividend in AGM, you have to deposit that dividend in a separate bank account within 5 days. 3 days elito, 5 days from the date of declaration. And payment of dividend. Can you pay dividend to the registered shareholder's son, wife? No, you should pay dividend only for registered shareholder. Or if the registered shareholder has given any direction, you pay dividend to this person. That person is not a beneficial owner, so you can pay to beneficial owner when you have the instruction from the registered holder. Sir, when I say you have to pay dividend, can you pay in cash? No. When I say you cannot pay in cash, you cannot pay in this hard cash, but you should pay cash only. Sir, what do you mean by this cash? You should not pay by way of kind. Instead of dividend, you take this bottle, you take this car. That kind is not permitted. When I say cash, it is either you should pay by way of check, or a dividend warrant, or any electronic means. These three sources are permissible. And whenever you are paying, either you pay to the registered holder, or directly pay to registered holder's bank account, or you directly pay to the person who the registered holder has instructed to pay. ನೀ ರಿಜಿಸ್ಟರ್ಡ್ ಹೋಲ್ಡರ್ ಆದ್ರೂ ಕೊಡು, ಇಲ್ಲ ನಾವು ಯಾರಿಗೇನೆ ನಮಗಾದ್ರೂ ಕೊಡು, ಇಲ್ಲ ಅವ್ನು ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ನಮ್ಮ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ಇದ್ರ. ಈ ಮೂರೇ ಪಾಸಿಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಇರೋದು. Payment of dividend only to registered holders only I tell you. Dividend is payable only to the registered holders or to their order. That means any person, you will put on the order ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, or to their banker, my bank account. If the shareholders request the company to pay dividend to a specific person and the company complies, it is deemed that shareholder is deemed to have received the dividend. ನಾ ಆಕಿ ಕೊಡು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ, ನೀ ಆಕಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ it is as good as you have given to me itself. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ನನ್ನ ಆರ್ಡರ್ಗೆ ಕೊಡಕತ್ತೀನಿ. And purchasers who are not registered in the register of members cannot claim the dividend even if they have paid for the shares. For example, for the purpose of payment of shares dividend, there is again something called as cut off date. ಗೊತ್ತೈತಲ್ಲ, ಈ ಡೇಟೆ ಬುಕ್ಸ್ ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಇದ್ರ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಯಾರು ಶೇರ್ಸ್ ಹೋಲ್ಡ್ ಮಾಡಕತ್ತಿರಲ್ಲ ಅವತ್ತಿನ ದಿವಸಕ್ಕೆ ಅವ್ರಿಗಷ್ಟೇ ಡಿವಿಡೆಂಡ್ ಬರ್ತೈತೆ. For any person you won't get the dividend. So the books closed on closed on 17th January, but I purchased shares on 18th January. Will I get the dividend? No. Dividend declared in the month of March only. March ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Actually March ಆಗಂಗಿಲ್ಲ. We will take the real examples only. I have purchased the shares on 10th August, but they have closed the books on 8th August, and they have conducted the AGM on 20th August, and they declared the dividend. They said any person who is holding shares on 8th of August will get a dividend at the percentage which is declared in the AGM. Now, even though they have declared the dividend after I have purchased the shares, because I have purchased on 10th, they declared on 20th. ನಾನು ಪರ್ಚೇಸ್ ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಡಿಕ್ಲೇರ್ ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ. Even though I will not get the shares if my name is not there on the cut-off date in the register of payment of dividend. Is that okay? Other point I think. Purchasers who are not registered in the register of members cannot claim dividend even if they have paid for the shares. When I have purchased, I have paid for the amount pay madini. The previous registered holders remains the entitled party unless company has notified to pay dividend to the purchaser. That is okay. In simple terms, if you are a holder of share on the cutoff date, you get the dividend. If not, whether you pay full amount, whether you pay part amount, whether you have the share, whether you don't have the share, it doesn't matter. And the dividends are only payable in cash. When I say cash, it is I'm talking about not in kind. You should pay cash, not hard cash. Maybe virtual cash, maybe bank cash, cash ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕಷ್ಟೇ, ರೊಕ್ಕ ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕು. Dividends must be paid in cash. They can be paid by check or by dividend warrant or by electronic means. Electronic means NEFT, RTGS, IMPS, those things. Section 127 says, 127 is what? Punishment for contravention. Mandates that declared dividends must be paid within 30 days from the date of declaration. You declare in today AGM, then you should pay it within 30 days. If paid by the warrant, that means if they are exercising this, warrant means they prepared, it is like a DD. DD nodiri. Check is different, DD is different. DD is prepaid. Our banking ಮೊದಲೇ ರೊಕ್ಕ ಕಟ್ಟಿ ಒಂದು DD ತಗೊಂಡ್ಬಂದಿರ್ತಾರೆ ಅವರು. ಇವನ ಹೆಸರು ಮೇಲೆ DD ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ. So if they are posting that dividend warrant, they should post that by within 30 days. That may reach the registered holder on 35th day. That is okay. But within 30 days, they have to pay. When I say they have to pay, if they are paying by warrant, they should send it by post within 30 days. If they send it by post within 30 days, it is as good as they have paid it within 30 days only. If the dividend is paid by warrant, it must be posted to the registered address within the same time, which is said as 30 days. It has something. 30 days, okay, 30 days of declaration. And applicability of Nidhis. What is Nidhi? Nidhi is a company which is established for the purpose of savings, all those things. Nidhi company, bank ಗೆ ಏನು ಹಾಕಂಗಿಲ್ಲ. Whenever they declare, members has to come and claim the dividend. Nidhis, okay. Any dividend payable by Nidhi company can be credited to the members account, provided it is claimed within 30 days from the declaration date. You come and claim, then you get the dividend. And there is some prohibition on dividend. This can be asked for MCQ. Sir, what is prohibition on dividend? If you have contravened or if you have committed some default in the repayment of maybe debentures, maybe interest, something else, then you cannot pay dividend unless you make good that default. ಎಲ್ಲ ಕೇಸ್ ಒಳಗಿತ್ತು, ಡಿಬೆಂಚರ್ಸ್ ಒಳಗಿತ್ತು, ಡೆಪಾಸಿಟ್ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಇತ್ತು. ಅದು ಒಂದೊಂದ್ ಕಡೆ 5 years ಇತ್ತು, 5 years elapsed ಆಗಬೇಕು. Those things are there. Here 5 years was not there. Prohibition in case of any defaulting company. Any company that fails to comply with the provisions of section 73. What is 73? 71 is a debenture. 73 is what? Deposits. ಇಲ್ಲೇ ಕೊಟ್ಟಾರ, ತೆಲುಗು ಕೊಟ್ಟರೆ. Prohibition on acceptance of deposits from the public. And section 74, that is the repayment of the Companies Act 2013, shall not declare any dividend on its equity shares as long as the failure continues. That means you first make good the failure, then you can declare the dividend. In case of section 8 company, can the section 8 company give the dividend? No, it is the primary objective of the section 8 company is to charitable purpose. You cannot give the dividend. That is prohibition. That is about 123. Declaration of dividend and payment of dividend. Then comes small section 124. What is that? Unpaid dividend account. What is unpaid dividend account? Whenever the company declares the dividend and that remains unpaid or unclaimed within 30 days of such a declaration, the company must transfer the total amount of unpaid or unclaimed dividend to a special account called unpaid dividend account within 7 days after the expiry of 30 days. 31 to 37 days ಒಳಗಡೆ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಫರ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು unpaid dividend account. And unpaid dividend account must be opened in a scheduled bank. Scheduled bank ನ ಓಪನ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. Whenever you see there are some 1000 shareholders who have not claimed the dividend or did not get the dividend, then we have to tell them, see, you are actually have the right to claim the dividend because of some wrong account number, or I tried to reach your home by your post. Your address is also locked. Your mail ID is also inactive. So I don't know where you are. but you are eligible for some dividend. How can I communicate this? Because of which section 124 says after completion of 30 days, after completion of 7 days, that is when you transfer it to unpaid dividend account, you prepare a list of shareholders who have not claimed the dividend, their number of shares, how many they are holding, and what is the amount they are eligible to get the dividend. All these things along with the last known address. You prepare a statement of everything, then you publish in your website. Whenever if he sees the website and decides, okay, ನಾನು ಒಂದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ dividend ಬರಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಕಂಪನಿಗೆ ಒಂದು ಕ್ಲೇಮ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ for next 7 years you pay it. Even after 7 years also, after publication of unpaid dividend shareholders list in the website, if nobody comes, then go for 125. That is the IPF account. No other option. So you have to prepare a statement of the unpaid dividend account within how many days? Within 90 days of transferring any amount to UDA, unpaid dividend account. The company must prepare a statement containing the name of the shareholders, last known addresses, and the amount of unpaid dividend to be paid to each person. And this statement must be placed on the company's website and any other website approved by the central government for this purpose. Payment of interest if default is made in transferring the amount. If the company fails to transfer the unpaid dividend amount to unpaid dividend account, it shall be liable to pay interest at the rate of 12% per annum. 12% per annum, and the amount not transferred from the date of default. That means they have to pay 10 lakh rupees dividend, out of which they paid 8 lakh rupees of dividend. Still there is 2 lakh rupees. That 2 lakh rupees has to be transferred to UDA within 7 days. They transferred after 30 days. That means 23 days default. 2 lakh rupees into 12% into 23 divided by 365. That is the interest they have to pay. 12% per annum. For what? Payment of interest. If a default is made in transferring the amount, payment of amount alla, unpaid dividend account transfer ಮಾಡೋದು ಡಿಲೇ ಆದ್ರೆ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಇದೆ 12% interest ಐತಿ. If the company fails to transfer the unpaid dividend amount to unpaid dividend account, it shall be liable to pay interest at the rate of 12% per annum on the amount not transferred from the date of default. What is the date of default? 7 days ಮುಗಿದ್ರೆ 8th day date of default ಆಗ್ತೈತೆ, ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂ ಆಗ್ತೈತೆ 12% interest. And the interest accruing on such amount will benefit the members of the company in proportion to the amount remaining unpaid to them. That means 2 lakh rupees into 12%. But they have transferred after 1 month, 1 by 12. ಎಷ್ಟು ಬರ್ತೈತಿ? 12 ಆಡ್ 24. 24,000 into 1 by 12. 1 by 12 ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ 2,000 rupees. This 2,000 rupees interest should be paid by the company. ಯಾರು ಪೇಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು? ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾರು ಕ್ಲೇಮ್ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲಲ್ಲ ಅವರಿಗೆ. ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ there are 5 people, 2 lakh rupees ಒಳಗಡೆ 40,000 5 people are. This 2,000 rupees also split between these 5 people. 400 each. You read this line carefully. Or if somebody want to copy, you can copy. The interest accruing on such amount will benefit the members of the company only. Government going members of the company. How? In proportion to the amount remaining unpaid to them. Out of 2 lakh, there is one member who is eligible to claim 1 lakh. Then 50% of the interest should go for that person only. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ unpaid ಇದ್ದಿದ್ದು 2 lakh ಐತೆ, ಅದರ 50% proportion ಅವಂದೇ ಐತೆ. Then if you feel that after 3 years you found out that I should get some dividend, you can go and claim the dividend, apply for payment of dividend. Claimant means what? The person who is applying for company. Any person entitled to any money transferred to unpaid dividend account may apply to the company for payment of monies so claimed. Then if it remains unpaid for a period of 7 years from the date of transfer, any money transferred to unpaid dividend account which remains unpaid or unclaimed for 7 years, from the date of transfer. These dates are important. From which date you are considering? I said 5 days of declaration, separate bank account you have to transfer, scheduled bank, and within 30 days you have to pay the dividend. When I say within 30 days, is it 30 days from end of fifth day, or is it 30 days from the declaration date? Declaration date. That means 30 includes 5 plus 25. Then, if it is not claimed or not paid, then within 7 days from the end of 30 days, you should transfer to unpaid dividend account. And from the date of transfer, sir, I transferred on 7th date. Then from that date, for next 7 years, you have to keep it in unpaid dividend account. Sir, and I have transferred on 31st day only. Then from 31st day to next 7 years, it should be in unpaid dividend account. And after completion of 7 years, you have to transfer it to IAPF account. Hmm? Government account. It is a government account. Okay, when you have, okay, what is your doubt? Mahesh? Doubt is right. Okay, when you have kept in the bank, separate bank account ittaga, bank account interest ಕೊಡೋದೈತೆ 2%, 3%, any percentage to will give the interest. Everything, including interest, dividend, everything including, you have to transfer it to government account. Not only the interest and dividend, you have to transfer the shares which are for which the dividend is unclaimed. ಆ shares ಕಳಿಸಬೇಕು, ಆ dividend ಕಳಿಸಬೇಕು, ಆ dividend ಮೇಲೆ approve ಆಗಿದ್ದ interest ನು ಕಳಿಸಬೇಕು IPF account. Shall be transferred to by the company to IAPF account along with any interest accrued. Along with this dividend amount, you have to transfer the shares also to IAPF account. Which shares? Unpaid dividend account amount in the related shares. All shares on which a dividend has not been paid or claimed for 7 consecutive years or more shall be transferred by the company to IPF along with the statement containing the prescribed details. Sir, what is prescribed details? ನಾವಲ್ಲಿ ವೆಬ್ಸೈಟ್ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಅನೌನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಲ್ಲ, ಸೇಮ್ ಡೀಟೇಲ್ಸ್ has to be sent to even IPF account also, because after 7 years I found out that I am eligible for some dividend, then I can go to IPF account. ಅವ್ರು ವೆರಿಫೈ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ಏನೋ ಒಂದು ಡೀಟೇಲ್ಸ್ ಬೇಕಲ್ಲ, that details again it has to be prepared by the company and send it to the IPF account. If any dividend is paid or claimed during these 7 years, the shares shall not be transferred to IPF account. Right of owner of transferred shares to reclaim. That means just because he is not claiming within 7 years, he will not lose the rights to claim the dividend as well as shares. He can go to the IPF account and he can claim it back. It is possible. Any claimant of shares transferred to IPF account shall be entitled to reclaim them from IPF account. For that, we have to follow some procedures and submission of some necessary documents. ನೀನೇ registered holder ಅನ್ನಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದು documents ಕೊಟ್ಟರೆ ಅವರು ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಫರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. And if you contravene any of these things, then there is punishment. Okay. If the company fails to comply, it shall be liable. It means company shall be liable to a penalty of 1 lakh and continuing failure penalty of 500 per day, maximum of 10 lakh rupees. You can write it as 1 lakh plus 1000 per day, maximum 10 lakh. The company. And every officer in default, OID, shall also be liable to a penalty of 25,000 plus 100 per day, maximum 2 lakh. 25,000 plus 100 per day, maximum 2 lakh. This is 124 unpaid dividend account. Understood online? Yes, now comes 125 IPF account. See, when I say IPF account, it is account maintained by the government, not only for the purpose of dividend. It has so many purposes, out of which one purpose is receiving of the unpaid dividend as well as payment of unpaid dividend when it is claimed. IPF account is an account established by Central Government of India, maintained by or in consultation with SEBI, where there are some amounts which are being credited to IPF account. There are some amounts which are being applied from IPF account. Now tell me, IPF account ಏನೇನು income ಇರಬಹುದು? What will be the income? One is unpaid dividend, it will go there, as well as interest on unpaid dividend also will go there, and the shares will also go there. If the IPF sells those, it also goes. Again, whatever the amount the IPF receives, ಅದು idle ಆಗಿ ಇಡಂಗಿಲ್ಲ. It will start investing in some things. Maybe government bonds, maybe RBI bonds, somewhere it will invest. It will generate some investment income also from that. That is also income for that. Again, for IPF, government also will give some grants. Government also will give some subsidies. There are so many incomes for IPF. And what are the applications? Application means spending. LL spend ಮಾಡ್ತೈತೆ amount ಅದು. One is after 7 years, if somebody comes for the claiming of dividend, shares, everything, the IPF has to pay it. That is one application. Application means spend, expenses. Second one is for the purpose of awareness of the investors. ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಡೆ ಸ್ಕ್ಯಾಮ್ ನಡೀತಾವ. ನೀವು ಟೆಲಿಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಚಾನಲ್ದಾಗ ನೋಡಿ ಈ ಶೇರ್ದಾಗ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ರಿ, ಈ ಶೇರ್ದಾಗ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ರಿ, ಇಂಥದ್ರಾಗ ಮಾಡಬೇಡ್ರಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಅಡ್ವರ್ಟೈಸ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ, ಅದಕ್ಕೂ ಸ್ಪೆಂಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರ. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಹಸ್ ಅವೇರ್ನೆಸ್. Sometimes they conduct even workshops also, seminars also, for the purpose of right vigilance. Then for the purpose of governing the IPF, we need some officers. Our salary ಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕೊಡಬೇಕು. They are government officers. ಅಲ್ಲೂ ಸ್ಪೆಂಡ್ ಆಗ್ತೈತಿ. There are few applications. In the examination, this question might get repeated. What are the sources of IPF account, or what are the applications of IPF account? Applications are I think 5 only. Sources are around 10. Sources you can write casually by looking into it. See here. 125 IPF account deals with 125 deals with IPF. This fund is established by the central government and used for the purpose of refund of unclaimed and unpaid amounts, promoting investors awareness and protecting investors right. What are the credits? Credit means it are incomes to IPF. Incomes to IPF. The following amounts must be credited to IPF. What are those following amounts? Amount given by central government. When I say central government, it is by the parliament, Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, said particular. Are any donations made by central government? Sir, what is the difference between this amount and this thing? What is the difference between first and second? Generally, whenever there is an institution for the purpose of maintenance, every year ಇಷ್ಟು ಕೊಡ್ತೈತೆ. ನೀವು ಇದ್ರಾಗ ಬಿಲ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ರಿನೋವೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊರಿ, ಸ್ಯಾಲರಿ ಕೊಡ್ರಿ ಅಂತ ಕೊಡ್ರಿ. That is amount which is given here with appropriation effect. That. What is the donation? That is donation out of the will and wish of the central government. Then amount in the unpaid dividend account will also get credited to this IPF account. You just read the heading only. That's it. Again, amount in the general revenue account of the central government, that is also maintained by IPF. ನಮ್ದು ಹೆಂಗ ಜನರಲ್ ರಿಸರ್ವ್ ಅಂತ ಇರ್ತೈತಲ್ಲ, ಅದ್ರಂಗ ಜನರಲ್ ರೆವೆನ್ಯೂ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಸೆಂಟ್ರಲ್ ಗೌರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಇಂದ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ಐತೆ, ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಸೆಂಟ್ರಲ್ ಗೌರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್. That is also maintained by this IPF account. Amount in IPF. Sir, what is this amount in IPF? Before IPF, this account act, there was an act called 1956 IPF account. IPF, Investor Education Protection Fund Act 1956. ಆ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ಆಗಿ ರೊಕ್ಕ ಇತ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಆ ರೊಕ್ಕ ಅಷ್ಟು ಹೊಸ ಅಕೌಂಟಿಗೆ ಬರ್ತಿತ್ತು. 2013, it is not 2013, some new act. Then if it has made any investment, it will generate some income from investment. Amount received through disgorgement or disposal of securities. Sir, what do you mean by disgorgement? Some terrorist has purchased shares from a company. When I say terrorist, he is an illegal person. He is barred from investing in any assets of our company. Government has come to know that a terrorist has purchased those shares. Even though he is the owner, it will disgorge ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಕಸಗಳು. ಅದ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಇದೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ, ಜಪ್ತಿ ಮಾಡೋದು ಆ ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ಟಿ illegally ಜಪ್ತಿ ಮಾಡೋದಲ್ಲ ಅವರಂಗ. Even though they are not the owners, they will disgorge the shares, and if they have any shares, they will sell it to the market. They will make income out of that. Any income received from that also, disgorgement and disposal of security, that is also income for IPF. Application money. What is application money? It is for company. Money received by companies for allotment of any security and due for refund which remains unclaimed or unpaid for 7 years from the date it becomes due. So what is this? Company want to offer 100 shares. They have application as received for 200 shares. Now there are 100 extra shares. Other the application money extra bandai, that money has to be refunded to the holders, shareholders. But we found out only 80 shareholders. Remaining 20 shareholders application money, it is not yet refunded. It is still there in unpaid dividend account only, unclaimed account of share application money. That amount also has to be transferred to IPF account. Yakanda that is not the money of company. Then why the hell you are keeping? You keep it for 7 years. If it comes, you repay it or give it to us, government. Then matured deposits. If the IPF has made some investment, sorry, not this IPF account. Section 71, 70, sorry, 72, 73, 74 deposits chapter ide. Company has accepted some deposits for 10 years. After 10 years, the deposits got matured, but nobody has came for the claiming of that deposit. In that case, that is the money has to be refunded to the public. Company rokka alladu, but yaru claim madakatilla. It has matured and nobody has claimed for the next 7 years. Then at the end of 7th year, it has to be transferred again to the IPF account. Then again debentures also mature ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಯಾರು ಕ್ಲೇಮ್ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ again interest accrued on these amounts, that is matured deposits and matured debentures. Amount received from sale proceeds. What is this sale proceeds? Whenever it disgorges some shares, if the company declares the bonus rights, ಆ shares IPF ಗೂ ಬರ್ತೈತೆ. So they can sell those shares and they can make some money out of it. Or redemption amount. What is redemption amount? Whenever they transfer the deposits and debentures, the IPF can directly redeem with the company and ask the money. That money also is an income, and any other amount. There are around, I think, 10 points. Just to the points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 types of incomes. You try to remember at least 6, 7 incomes. We can easily remember it. See, we have 3 types of securities in company: shares, debentures, and deposits. Unpaid and unclaimed dividend for 7 years. That is one income. Matured deposits, matured debentures. Any interest on matured deposits and matured debentures. Any unpaid interest accrued on the unpaid dividend amount which is there in the bank. If they out of this money, IPF can make some investments. Investment income ಬರ್ತೈತಿ. ಎಷ್ಟಾಯ್ತು? One is unpaid dividend, unclaimed dividend for 7 years. Matured deposits, matured debentures, interest on matured debentures and deposits, investment income from that. Then okay, ಇಷ್ಟ ಆಯ್ತಾ? ಕಂಪನಿ ಕಡೆಯಿಂದ ಎಷ್ಟು ಬರ್ತೈತೆ? ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಕಡೆಯಿಂದ ಒಂದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಬರ್ತೈತೆ. ಅಮೌಂಟ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ದ ಸೆಂಟ್ರಲ್ ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್, ಡೊನೇಷನ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ದ ಸೆಂಟ್ರಲ್ ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್. ಈ 7 ಸಾಕು. ಇದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇಟ್ಕೋಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ನೀವು ನೆನ್ಪಿಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಡಿಸ್ಗಾರ್ಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ದೀಸ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್. Interest, okay. Some, at least remember 7 points. Remembering of 7 points. If they ask for 5 marks, you should be able to write 7 points. If able to remember more points, that is okay. That is well and good. But 7 points are minimum, must. And that amount can be utilized for what purposes? One is if somebody comes for the claiming of the amount, unclaimed or unpaid dividend, or for the purpose of promotion of investors' education, then distribution of disgorged amount. What is disgorged amount? We treated somebody as terrorist. Listen. Wait. We treated somebody as terrorist. Now you killed at least unbidre. Somebody as terrorist, but actually he is not the terrorist. Our terrorist and the treat for the yellow amount disgorgement what do you know? Later after 5 years, 6 years, court decided he is not a terrorist, he is a good person. Then we have to refund him back. That is one of the application. One application is payment of unclaimed or unpaid dividend. Second one is promotion, awareness, then distribution of disgorged amount. Tell me what is the fourth point? Reimbursement of legal expenses. Okay, that is also there. Last one. Is there anything? Any other purpose? It decide. It may decide. That is 125. Section number 125. Okay, I'll discuss what is 126, what is 127. You just listen. 126 area law. What is one? Am I audible online? You can look at your material, the iPad charging at over. Am I audible online? Yes, you can look at your material, then you can listen. Section number 126 is right shares, right? Huh? Rights, right to dividend. Regarding right shares, bonus shares, and shares which are kept in abeyance. Sir, what is this? The company decided that we will give the dividend on the shareholders to the shareholders who are holding shares on 10th August. Now, 10th August only some people might have sold the shares. Market ಒಳಗೆ ಯಾವಾಗಾದರೂ transaction ಆಗ್ತಾನೆ ಇರ್ತೈತೆ. Every second there are some thousands of transaction. Then to which person will pay the shares? A dividend. Is it for the buyer? Is it for the seller? For that purpose, if you are unable to decide who is the owner to whom you have to pay the dividend, you have to keep that dividend in abeyance. Abeyance means idle. Unless the actual owner is decided by them. Company decided seller is the owner, buyer is not the actual owner. Because now declare now 3 o'clock ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ವಿ 3 o'clock ಗೆ ಅವನ ಕಡೆ shares ಇದೆ. So we'll pay it to them. But unless it is decided who is there, who is the owner, who is not the owner, you have to keep it in abeyance. That is 126, section 126. Not only the dividend, right shares also, bonus shares also, whatever the shares related to those shares, we should keep it in abeyance unless the actual owner is decided. That is 126. Okay. Then 127. 127 is punishment for contravention. You can read it. Somebody give me the textbook here. You can look at 126. In case any instrument of transfer of share has been delivered by a shareholder for registration and the transfer of such share has not been registered by the company, such company shall take the following steps. Transfer the dividend in relation to such shares to unpaid dividend account unless it is authorized by the registered holder of such share in writing to pay such dividend to the transferee specified in the instrument of transfer. That means I sold it. Whenever I have sold it, dividend is always paid for the members whose name is entered in the register of members. But ಯಾವಾಗ ಸೇಲ್ ಆದಾಗ ನೇಮ್ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಗ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಟೈಮ್ ತಗೋತೈತಿ. ಆ ಟೈಮ್ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಯಾರಿಗೆ ಬೇಕು? ಸೆಲ್ಲರ್ ಕೊಡಬೇಕು, ಬಯರ್ ಕೊಡಬೇಕು. If the seller says in writing, okay, I am not the person who wants the dividend, to please pay to him, then you can directly pay to transferee. That is one thing. Then keep in abeyance in relation to, okay, you have to keep it in abeyance. Abeyance means idle. ಯಾರಿಗೂ ಬೇರೆ ಪರ್ಪಸ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಡ, ಬೇರೆ ಯಾರಿಗೂ ಕೊಡಬೇಡ. Abeyance means idle. Right shares and any issue of fully paid up bonus shares in pursuance of, okay, not only dividend, it is right shares also, bonus shares also. Everything you keep it idle. whenever it is decided transfer ಯಾವಾಗ ಬರ್ಕೊಡ್ದಲ್ಲ ಅವ್ನು ಕೊಡು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಅವಾಗ ನೀವು ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಕೊಡ್ತೀವಿ. Then 127. What is 127? Punishment for failure to distribute the dividends within 30 days. That means ಆ 30 days in related ಅಷ್ಟೇ punishment ಐತಿಲ್ಲ. Sir, within 7 days I did not transfer to unpaid dividend account. That's punishment we already discussed, 12% interest. You have did not transfer. Transferring to unpaid dividend account, other the punishment ಆಗಲೇ ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಆಗಿದೆ 12% interest. Penalty part ಆಗಿದೆ. ಕಂಪನಿ ಡಿಫಾಲ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿತ್ತು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಬೇರೆ, ಆಫೀಸರ್ ಇನ್ ಡಿಫಾಲ್ಟ್ 1 lakh, 2 lakh, some 2000, maximum 10 lakh and 2 lakh. That has been already discussed. It is for you declare the dividend and within 30 days you have to pay it. If you don't pay it, then you fall under 127. What is that 127? You can see that directly. Time limit for distribution of dividend, that is 30 days. 30 days is the only important thing. You can see it on the fourth line. And if it does not pay the cash by check or dividend warrant or electronic mode within 30 days, then it is contravened with section 123. Then what is the punishment for that failure? In case of company fails to pay declared dividend or fails to post dividend warrants within 30 days of declaration. See, fails to post dividend warrant within 30 days. We are telling it may reach after 50th day. I don't care. But by 30th day you should have given by the post. ನೀವು ಪೋಸ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಬಿಡಬೇಕು ಅದನ್ನ. ಅವ 20 ದಿವಸ ಅಲ್ಲ 2 ವರ್ಷ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಕೊಡ್ಲಿ ಅವ್ನು ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಹಂಗ. My part of duty has been completed within 30 days. That is what this thing MCQ ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಇದ್ರಾಗ. Company has posted on 22nd day, but it has reached on 38th day. Is it contravention? 127 penalty. You have to check it. If it is posted within 30 days, responsibility is over. That is important. Following punishments are applicable. For every director of the company shall be punishable with an imprisonment up to 2 years. If he knowingly a party to the default, and shall also be liable. It is an condition, non-compoundable offence. Shall also be liable to minimum fine of 1,000 for each day during which default continues. If flat penalty illa, for a day 1,000 plus up to 2 years jail. Company shall be liable to a simple interest at the rate of 18% per annum during which the period for which such default continues. That means if you are not paying to the shareholders within 30 days, then pay 18% interest. Penalty is 18% interest. Along with that, you have to transfer to unpaid dividend account within 7 days. The company shall be liable to simple interest at the rate of 18% during which such default continues. What is the 12%? Come back. ಯಾವ ಪೇಜ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆ ಅದು? Okay, this 18% is because of your default. That means you know she is the older, she is the older, he is the older, but you did not pay it. That is 18% interest. What is for 12% unpaid dividend account? You want to pay. You are taking all the actions, but nobody is coming and taking the dividend, because of which you have to comply with 124. 124 means what? Unclaimed or unpaid dividend account. That means ಯಾರು ಕೊಡೋರಿಗೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಉಳಿದಿದ್ದ ಡಿವಿಡೆಂಡ್ ನೀವು ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಫರ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಲ್ಲ, ಆ ಅಮೌಂಟ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಅಷ್ಟೇ 12% ಐತೆ. This 18% is ನೀ ಕೊಡಬೇಕಾಗಿರೋ ಡಿವಿಡೆಂಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದು ಕೇಳಕತ್ತಾರ, ನೀ ಅವ್ರು ಕೊಡಾಕತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. For that amount it is 18%. Is that okay? For non-transference to unpaid dividend account 12%. For non-payment of dividend to shareholders within 30 days, that is 18%. Then some exemptions are there. What are the exemptions? This exemption can be asked in the examination, 4 marks or 5 marks. One is where dividend could not be paid. You can directly look at the chart. Where dividend could not be paid by reasons of the operation of the law. What is operation of the law? I have to pay. Operation andre hospital kuntu surgical ತಗೊಂಡು operation ಮಾಡೋದಲ್ಲ. Operation means company said, law said, we are having some doubt regarding some suspicion regarding this person, you don't pay dividend to that person until unless we give some order. In that case, even if order takes more than 30 days, that is not your default. 18% penalty or exempted because it is an operation of law. Then, where the shareholder has given directions to the company regarding the payment of dividend, and those directions cannot be complied with, and the same has been communicated to him. That means he has given an account number direction, and I sent the check to the bank. Bank said this account number is wrong, and the same thing I have communicated to the registered holder. See, whatever the account number you have given, it is wrong. Please rectify it. Within 30 days, he did not rectify, he did not give separate account, nothing has been done. In that case, even if it crosses 30 days, it is not my default because I have already informed him. That is second exemption. Third one is where there is a dispute regarding the right to receive the dividend. That means I sold to the other party, same day, yare kodbeka. Illa, there is a shares which are of a father. Now it is being inherited. Father ತೀರ್ಕೊಂಡ ಈಗ ಯಾವ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಬರ್ಬೇಕಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಒಂದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಕೋರ್ಟ್ನ ಕೇಸ್ ಹಾಕ್ಯಾರ. ಸೊ ಆಗ ಯಾರಿಗೆ ಕೊಡ್ತೀರಿ ಡಿವಿಡೆಂಡ್? ಪರ್ಸನ್ ಎ ಕೊಡ್ತಿರೋ ಪರ್ಸನ್ ಬಿ ಕೊಡ್ತಿರೋ? Unless it is decided by the court who is the actual owner of those shares, then it cannot be paid because of that time where there is a dispute regarding the right to receive the dividend. Who should receive the dividend? Example, you can write there court case or inheritance of the property. Court case in case of inheritance. Then where the dividend has been lawfully adjusted by the company against the sum due to it from the shareholder. For example, company has issued the shares, they have called 8 rupee out of 10 rupees. 10 rupees shares, they called only 8 rupees. Still 2 rupees pending aite. Okay, instead of payment of dividend, I have declared the dividend, ning is proportion dividend bartaite. Okay, why I should pay the dividend? I will make it as fully paid. 2 rupees ಇಲ್ಲಿ adjust ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಡ್ತೀನಿ. Anyway, when I call the money, you have to pay the money. Why I should pay you back? Again, you should pay me back. We will rightfully adjust. If you are okay with that, I will adjust this. That is also payment of dividend. Even if you don't pay actually within 30 days, because you cannot pay, because you are already adjusted for the sum which is due, either maybe unpaid dividend, sorry, unpaid share value, or maybe he has taken some loan from the company. He said, okay, you don't pay me the dividend, you adjust. Alle set up ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಡು. 5 ಲಕ್ಷ ರೂಪಾಯಿ dividend ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, 5 ಲಕ್ಷ ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಲೋನ್ ಇದೆ, set up ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಡು, we will settle the accounts only. Then in that case, you will not pay any dividend for that person. That is also, there is an exemption within 30 days. Then for any reason, the failure to pay dividend or to post the warrant within the prescribed period of 30 days was not due to any default on part of the company. ನನ್ನ ಸಂಬಂಧ ಏನು ಮಿಸ್ಟೇಕ್ ಆಗತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ನಿನ್ನ ಸಂಬಂಧ ಏನು ಮಿಸ್ಟೇಕ್ ಆಗತೈತೆ. ಮೇ ಬಿ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಡಿಲೇ ಮಾಡಕತೈತೆ, ಇಲ್ಲ ಮೇ ಬಿ ರಿಜಿಸ್ಟರ್ಡ್ ಹೋಲ್ಡರ್ ಡಿಲೇ ಮಾಡಕತ್ತಾನ, ಇಲ್ಲ ಒಂದು ಸರ್ವರ್ ಡಿಲೇ ಆಗತೈತೆ, ಪೋಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫೀಸ್ ಡಿಲೇ ಮಾಡಕತೈತೆ. I am not the actual party. I have complied all these things within my 30 days. In these cases, I am not liable for 127. What are the punishments? There are 5 exemptions. What are the exemptions? First one is due to operation of the law, dividend cannot be paid. Okay, whenever you write, you know that operation of the law is answered. Don't write only that much. You try to make the statement that dividend cannot be paid within 30 days because of the operation of law. At least this statement you have to make it. So masala haki cook ಮಾಡಕ ಬರಬೇಕು ನಿಮಗೆ, ಬರೇ ತರಕಾರಿ ಹಾಕಿದ್ರೆ ವರ್ಕ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. Due to operation of the law. Second one is shareholder has given the direction to payment of dividend to some third party. It is as good as deemed that shareholder has received the dividend. That is an exemption. Third one, dispute regarding the right of dividend. Fourth one, dividend have been lawfully adjusted for any sums due. Fifth one, not because of the fault on my part. These 5 exemptions are there. Sir, what is important? I think it is over. In this chapter, there are only few things important. One very important thing is timeline. From declaration date, 5 days you have to transfer to separate account. Within 30 days you have to pay to the shareholders. If you are not paying, then within 7 days of that end of 30 days you have to transfer it to unpaid dividend account. After which completion of 7 years you should transfer it to IPF account. This timeline is important. When the company is having insufficiency of the profits or losses, then it will draw it from other previous year profits, for which it has to comply with 4 conditions. Whenever it has drawing it from past reserves and surplus. Current year losses should be set off first, and you cannot pay more than average profits of average dividend of last 3 years, and you cannot pay more than 10% of paid up capital plus free reserves. And after payment of that 10%, the amount whatever it is left in free reserves should not be less than 15% of the paid up capital. These conditions are important. Then coming penalty, you can remember 18% for non-payment within 30 days, 12% for non-transfer of amount to unpaid dividend account within 7 days. Then punishment for contravention, that is okay. IPF account, some credits, some debits. What are the credits? Credit means income. One is government donation, government amount. Income from investment ಮಾಡಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಮೊದಲನೇ first income ಯಾವುದು ಡಿಸೈಡ್ ಮಾಡೋಣ. Sorry, unclaimed dividend, then matured deposits, matured debentures, investment income, application money not adjusted, not refunded, then disgorgement assets, some 8 are okay. Application, first unclaimed dividend is a claim either we have to pay it back, awareness of the investors, reimbursement of disgorged amount, then fifth one is any other purpose. What is fourth one? Reimbursement of legal expenses. These 5 things are important. You should remember the section number also. 123 declaration of dividend, 124 unpaid dividend account, 125 investor education protection fund account, 126 whenever the shares are transferred but the transferee's name is not entered in the register of members, then unless the earlier seller gives in writing that you can pay the dividend, right shares, bonus shares, it should be kept in abeyance. That is 126 dividend, rights and bonus, and 127 is punishment. Is that okay? Simple chapter, very easy chapter, 5 to 7 marks, you can score it. Online understood? There are 5 MCQs, please do it. Take this one. Shall we take a break now? Because iPad is also not there. It is 8:40. I know it is early to have the breakfast. If everybody is okay, we will take a break for 30 minutes. 30. Breakfast break. ಈಗ ನಾಷ್ಟ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬರೋದು. ಬಟ್ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಬೆಳಗ್ಗೆ. Okay, we will take a break till 9:20. 40 minutes break maximum. See, yesterday you people were sitting outside. I started the class. Today also I will do the same thing. When it is 9:20, 9:20 you should be in the class. That is what I expect. Faculty ಬಂದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಹುಡುಗರು ಬರೋದಲ್ಲ, ಹುಡುಗರು ಬಂದ್ಮೇಲೆ faculty ಬರಬೇಕು. First you do 5 MCQ, 5 MCQ kundu 5 MCQ ಮಾಡ್ರಿ first. Online we will take break till 9:20. Again we will meet back at 9:20.